3 months after the COVID-19 pandemic put a hold on residential evictions, frustration boiling over at a Mississauga rooming house where one man says he was illegally evicted by the landlord and forced to sleep in his car after police were called. Chaudhry Mazar had been living in the master room in the home near Eglinton and Mavis for the last 2 years, until just recently. He was temporarily laid off due to COVID and only paying half the rent. On Saturday, the 31-year-old says his landlord changed the locks while he was out for dinner.
At that point, the landlord started doing things which would be disturbing. And he was hoping I'm going to get frustrated myself and leave eventually.
Peel police were called to the location that night by both and again today, telling City News officers were there to keep the peace, adding that several attempts were made to explain they don't have authority to interfere in landlord-tenant issues. Chaudhry says he was told he could no longer go on the property.
And police reacted. The first thing they said is like, he is the landlord, and if he doesn't want me to go in, there's nothing they can do.
A man living in the home said he called police. Though he didn't want to appear on camera, he told City News that Chaudhry had been causing issues inside the home, getting into verbal arguments with the other roommates, throwing away roommates' things, leaving the stove on, leaving the doors unlocked, and even threatened his life. The owner of the home, who also didn't want to appear on camera, says the other 4 roommates had been complaining about Chaudhry and things were getting worse in the last 4 months. City News saw text between the 2 men. One appears to show that the landlord told Chaudhry to find a new place to live back in May, when he also told him that a potential renter would come view the room. Chaudhry refutes these allegations, saying he mostly kept to himself inside the home, and the landlord and roommates are coming up with these issues to get rid of him now.
All of this is illegal. By law, my landlord should have gone to the tenant board and asked for an eviction order.
Back in March, the Landlord-Tenant Board suspended issuing evictions and hearing orders unless it's an urgent matter, but they are still accepting applications online and by mail. Applications filed by tenants alleging they've been illegally locked out are automatically scheduled for an urgent hearing. Chaudhry says because it was the weekend, he wasn't able to get any support from the Landlord-Tenant Board, but has reached out to the tribunal. Making the matter more complicated, the roommate says the landlord lives in the home, exempting the tenant from protection under the Residential Tenancies Act. But Chaudhry says the landlord does not live in the home. City News reached out to Tribunals Ontario for a comment this morning. They were unable to provide a statement by deadline. Chaudhry says Peel police are supposed to accompany him back inside the home in order to collect the remainder of his items, but he says he is hoping to find another place to live before then. In Mississauga, I'm Faiza Amin for City News.